Hey guys, this is Barry once again with another video lesson. This one is on CSS, focusing on styling, links, and lists. So let's get started. You'll want to have your board notes for Chapter 7 handy as we start looking at this. First thing I want you to notice is on the left-hand side of this graphic, we've got the diagram that indicates the directory structure of a particular website that we're going to look at in this example. You'll notice we have an index.html and contact.html in the document root, along with three directories: a directory for images, a directory for products, and a directory for services. In the right-hand column of the graphic, up the top in blue, you'll notice two image elements. Both are accomplishing the same thing. Just wanted to show you two different ways to reference the images directory using a relative path. In the top, ./images/pic1 is referencing the exact same image file as just images/pic1.jpg. And that's because both of those are saying to look in the directory immediately below the location where we are into a directory named images for the file pic1.jpg. All of these examples in blue are assuming that we're looking at source code in the index.html document, which is at the same level as contact.html. So the ahref equals contact.html says look for a file named contact.html that's at the same level as this document is. The third example in blue shows how to create a hyperlink from the index.html document to the callers.html document, even though the callers document resides in a directory products. So there's two ways of representing that. Now looking at the examples in red, assuming that we're looking at source code inside the callers.html document, which is located in a directory named products, if we are referencing the image caller1.jpg, in order to reach that, we'll need to go up one level, .. then down into images, and then we can reference caller1.jpg. And likewise, with a link from callers.html to shampoo.html, they are in the same directory at the same level, so we can simply say ahref equals shampoo.html. In order to create a link from callers.html back to the home page, we need to go up one level, and that's where index.html is located. So ahref equals .. index.html. And finally, creating a link between callers.html and daycare.html, we could see that it's going to be very similar to our images example, .. services/daycare.html, because we need to go up one level, then down into services, and that's where daycare.html is located. Sometimes it helps to view relative paths as a directory tree. So looking now at our example of creating a hyperlink from index.html to callers.html, that's the last example in blue. Notice that both index.html and the products directory are in the top level of our diagram, and callers.html is one level below products. So we will need to navigate down into products from our document root where index.html is located. Then we can navigate and find callers.html. Now let's take a closer look at hyperlinks. There are basically three types of hyperlinks: links to other pages within your site, links to a specific location within a page, and links to other websites. The first example, internal links, uses the same syntax that we've seen in every example so far of hyperlinks: ahref equals, and then a relative path to the desired page. The second type, known as intrapage links, requires a little bit more. First, you'll identify the location within the page to which you would like to link. We do this with an ID, so the example there, H1 ID equals top, and we're putting this at the top of our document. At another location within the page, we'll create a hyperlink that will link to that named anchor. For example, we show href equals pound top, and then the link text to top or back to top. The pound top says jump to or link to a named anchor, an anchor named top. The third type of hyperlink is much like the first, uses a syntax similar to what we've seen. The main difference is that the path in the href is going to be a fully qualified domain name beginning with http:// then the name of the site, and a path to the document within that site. Styling hyperlinks is accomplished through a type of selector known as a pseudoclass. The pseudoclasses for hyperlinks are link, visited, hover, and active. All pseudoclasses are separated from their element name with a colon. So the syntax is, for example, a:*link. If you're going to use more than one of the anchor pseudoclasses, due to a constraint in browser interpretation, the anchor pseudoclasses must appear in this order. First link, then visited, then hover, then active. You can be very specific with how your CSS rules should be applied. For example, if you only want your rule to apply to list items when they occur inside a nav container, then your selector will be nav space li. On the other hand, if your rule should apply only to list item elements that are of class nav, the syntax would be li.nav. And if your rule should apply to multiple elements equally, you can use the comma as in h1, h2, h3, then that rule will be applied to all three. Style precedence is based on the following hierarchy. If there is no CSS present, the browser defaults are used. However, if an external style sheet exists, it is used. Embedded style sheets override external CSS. Inline takes precedence over embedded. And lastly, HTML attributes trump all. But HTML attributes should be avoided. The question often arises, how do I interpret multiple values in a margin, padding, or border CSS declaration? Here's the answer. If one of the box model properties has 4 values, the first value represents the top, the second, the right, the third, the bottom, and the fourth, the left. So for 4 values, that's pretty easy to remember. Start at the top and move clockwise. With 3 values, the first is the top, the second, right and left, and the third is the bottom. Likewise, with 2 values, the first value is for top and bottom, the second value is for right and left. And finally, if a box model property only has 1 value, that value is applied to all 4 sides. And finally, I'm going to give a brief explanation of this chapter's homework assignment. Begin by downloading all of the files in your Lab 07 directory. You will not change anything inside the CSS file, but you will change its name to lab07 screen.css. In the HTML document, alter the link elements in the head section as shown. Create an additional external style sheet named lab07print.css that will cause the page to display, or in this case print, in normal flow without any background images, with no colors, no navigation, and only the Trillium image showing. This wireframe describes exactly how your printed output should appear.